Yo, what up, street gods? There, Campfire the Thought. What is it that we really want in life? So, some thoughts about the philosophy of miswanting and so forth. So, certainly we want physiological thriving and physiological happiness, which means ideally you'd always feel super well rested, full of muscular strength, optimism, hope, joy, energy, and so forth, and to be to never really feel exhausted, tired, depressed, anxious, whatever. Now, personally I've achieved that, right? And now the question that I got in my mind is once you have the ideal and optimal physicality, like you have no pains, you sleep well, you eat well, you have good digestion, whatever, then what? And so my conclusion right now thus far is it seems like the proper end to everything is just artistic and creative that goes beyond the utilitarian. So for example, like a lot of people think what they want is happiness, but actually I would say more important than happiness is creative thriving and flourishing. And so for me, like the end of all this is artistic. So for you to make photos, make videos, or anything that artistically expresses you. And people, I don't know, I've lived in a variety of climates. I've lived in warm weather, cold weather, and far more important than being quote unquote happy is being artistically productive and inspired and so forth. And if I just judge myself, then I look at my periods of the maximal creative flourishing, it was always typically when physiologically I was the healthiest. So even when I was living in Vietnam, living in a hotel room, it's nice and quiet and dark. Therefore, I slept well, I ate well, had little worries or concerns on my mind. And even when it comes to money and finances and stuff like that, the best use of money isn't just to have a ton of it, it's just to have the money as a tool to not worry about money, ironically enough. And so the question is, once you're in this optimal state where you have, you eat super well, you're not worried about money, and then what? And so, yeah, I think it's artistic, physical, physiological, and philosophical. So for us to continue to develop our philosophical minds, but also for us to be artistically creative, to create art. I mean, to me it's not enough to be like super rich and just buy a bunch of artwork. It's certainly much more fun to create your own artwork than to buy someone else's artwork. And I think this is a mistake that a lot of people make is, once I make a bunch of money then I'll be happy. It's more of like, I would actually say, trying to focus on what you really, really want. So let's say for me, what I really, really want is my own artistic creativity, flourishing and thriving. And then everything I do in my life is going to be a reflection of that. And therefore I just worry less about everything else. So what helps me, physiologically thrive and do well? Tons of natural light, where it's nice and bright. And if I can't get my natural light at home, I'll just go outside and go outdoors where it's much brighter and sunnier. And yeah, having the chance to make art. And so for me, the simple goal is for me to be creative every day. Creative as in like making stuff. So for me to shoot videos every day, for me to write every day, for me to think every day, for me to ingest some sort of, you know, motivational, artistic, creativity thoughts is useful. And I think for me, creative innovation is what I'm most passionate about. Because, you know, my life is short. I'm gonna die, you know, whatever. And hopefully my future kids will live on my legacy or something like that. But for the most part, you know, I'm gonna be alive, and how do I want to meaningfully utilize my life and leverage my life is I want to continue to creatively innovate new ideas, new methods, new techniques, new ideas, which I hope empowers other people, because I know what it feels like to be disempowered, and I feel like I've learned a few useful lessons along the way that I want to share. And so it's like, I think it's like a creative flywheel where you focus on your own personal self-development and you make that your priority. And once you've discovered some things which have helped you, then you share your uber abundance with others by sharing with others, you know, what's worked with you, in the hope that it could help inspire others. Because I mean, I think that like all philosophers, all thinkers who have done stuff have either written their works down or shared their lessons with other students. So even Socrates, who, you know, he didn't write none down, he still had students, and his students did the dirty work of writing down his, leaving his writings and stuff like that. And also I think when it comes to you know, even philosophers like Nietzsche, who didn't get any credit in his lifetime. I mean, most really great thinkers, I think, don't really get the garlands or the laurels for their contributions until after they're dead. And obviously after you're dead, there's no real ups. You know, you can't get the dividends for your sacrifices after you're dead. But I don't know, I think then that's where this kind of noble sense of duty, or this, you know, thinking beyond yourself is quite useful. But so for me, selfishness is important for the sake of becoming more big picture thinking, altruistic. And I suppose the practical goal is to maximize your creativity and your artistic abilities, and let everything else fall to the wayside.